Right, I've been had both these rifles a while now. We've got the Pro X and the Hunting 5 Auto, and I've been asked by a few people, being as I've owned both rifles for a bit, which one do I think is the best? And I am going to attempt to answer that question for you. Now, I've not had the Pro X as long as I've had the Hunting 5, but nonetheless, I've had it long enough now. I've had it a couple of weeks, shot an awful lot of stuff with it already. Been out in various places with it, shot rabbits at ranges varying from 15 yards way out to 55 yards with it. I've had a couple of multiple hits with it, so I think I know the rifle pretty well now. As for the Hunting 5, I've had this quite a long time, and I've shot hundreds of rabbits with this rifle, hundreds of them. So I know that one really well. Now, for starters, the difference is, obviously, Pro X is a bullpup. It's a 10-shot bullpup. Same length barrel and same length air cylinder as the Hunting 5. Very similar pistol grip, similar trigger. But the action is slightly different. It's got the same safety catch, but like I say, it's got a 10-shot rotary magazine that fits in the back there on the Pro X, whereas the Hunting 5 is a magazine-fed 5-shot that loads in from the side. Both bolt cocking rifles. Hunting 5's is longer. Pro X is a little stubby thing, but basically do exactly the same thing. There's not a great deal of difference in the cocking mechanism or the way it feels to cock, or really, so they feel pretty much the same. Stocks from the pistol grip back, pretty similar really in shape. Obviously you've got a raised cheek piece protector thing here to stop you having to rest your face on the action on the Pro X, whereas on this you've got a very slight comb. It's not a massive comb, but it's enough. Same big hole for the pistol grip in both, and the same feel on the trigger. One thing I've noticed that I didn't realise is you can't adjust the trigger pull on the Pro X apart from the position of the trigger. That's not really a problem because it's a very light, very precise 2-stage match trigger. It's really good. On Hunting 5 though, you can adjust the weight of the first pull and the second pull, and also the length of travel on the first pull as well. Both of them you can alter the length of pull. The trigger slides along a little metal rail. You can't really see it very clearly, but it slides forwards or backwards and from side to side. And similarly on the Pro X. So the Steyr has got the more adjustable the Hunting 5, pardon me, has got the more adjustable trigger. Again, neither of them are shrouded barrels, so they both need a silencer, and they both need one of these little fitments that you get from Steyr that go over the barrel, and the silencer just screws on. Both got the same cylinders that fill with the plugs, so in that respect they're identical. So basically it boils down to, do you like a full length hunting rifle or do you prefer the bullpup? Now I'll tell you a few things I've found with the bullpup since I've been out hunting with it. Firstly, safety catch. It's not in the best of places. On the Hunting 5 you put your hand in the thing and with your thumb just knock the safety catch on and off as you need be. Obviously on the Pro X you can't because it's all the way back here, so you need to put it on and off really before you mount the rifle to shoot it, which is a bit of a pain in the bum, to be honest. And the other thing with this is, if you carry it under the crook of your arm, the butt under the crook of your arm while holding the forend, there's a tendency to catch the safety catch on your jacket and knock the damn thing onto fire. when you're carrying it under your arm. So you have to be careful in how you carry it to make sure you don't knock that safety catch off. It's, you know, it depends on how you carry the rifle. Not everyone carries it the same, but I tend to carry it with that tucked under one arm and then hold the forend, point the barrel at the floor, and there is a tendency, because it gets caught in your jacket or whatever under your arm, it's easy to flick it off and on. That sounds very loud, by the way, but there's a lot of echo in here. You can make it very quiet. The silencer isn't, the safety catch isn't that loud going off and on. So there's that. The other thing I found with the Pro X, maybe it's just me and bullpups, but I don't think it's as pointable as the rifle, in my opinion. I think I've got to admit, out of all the rifles and air guns I've ever shot, the Hunting 5 is the pointability of that particular rifle is superb. It just comes up so well, up to the aim so well. It's beautifully balanced. It really is. It's a very instinctive rifle to fire. Whereas the Pro X is a bit more, I don't know, the balance isn't quite as good. It's well balanced, don't get me wrong, it is well balanced, but it's not, it doesn't flow up to the shoulder as well as the Hunting 5 does. Now, but to counteract that, the Pro X does have this rather smart bipod assembly that you can get as an extra. Now, I really like this. It fits to the rail at the top rather than being stuck underneath the rifle, and for some reason, I think probably the weight hanging down, but this shoots so well off that bipod. It is rock steady, because I think the weight, because it's hanging off the bottom of the bipod, it pulls it down. It's got, you know, it's got a lower centre of gravity from where the bipod's pivoting. So to me, it feels really, really stable with that bipod. It's a superb arrangement and it works really, really well. Whereas the Hunting 5, if you want to put a bipod on it, your only choice really is to drill a stock and put one underneath. No, they work well enough. You know, I've had them on loads of rifles that I've had. But I have to say that I think this, having the rifle pivoting underneath the bipod, if you like, makes a very, very, very stable shooting platform. And what I've tended to find with the Pro X is that I've shot almost everything. Well, no, but I've shot a good 80% of the game. The rabbits that I have shot have been shot off the bipod with the Pro X, whereas with the Hunting 5, I tend to shoot almost everything standing up freehand, or standing up resting on a tree or a fence or whatever. So there is a different style of shooting, I think, to shooting the Pro X. It's off the bipod, it's unbelievable. That bipod makes it so stable, it's incredible. Much prefer that style of bipod to the normal bipod that fits underneath the rifle. It does make a big difference. It's really good. Weight wise, Pro X is heavier by a noticeable amount. I haven't weighed it in kilos, but you can, when you pick them up, you can feel the difference. The Pro X is heavier than the Hunting 5. Pro X feed system, that 10-shot circular magazine feed system, is, I think, much better than the stick magazines in the Hunting 5. A, you've got double the amount of shots, and B, I don't know, it just seems a more neat, tidy and enclosed method of holding. It's also a lot less pellet fussy, or I found it to be a lot less pellet fussy. The magazine I'm talking about, not the barrel, but the magazine is a lot less pellet fussy than the stick mags that you get with the Hunting 5. I had a right old job to find pellets that stay in the magazines without falling out all the time, or that would seat comfortably into the stick mags for the Hunting 5. Whereas the Pro X it's a lot less fussy as regards its pellets. As regards pellets for actual shooting, they both seem to prefer the same sorts of pellets, which is no big surprise as they've both got the same barrels. The barrel length and, you know, obviously they're manufactured exactly the same, so the barrels are pretty much the same. But as regards the magazines, the Pro X is much better. That 10-shot magazine is really good. So there you go. So if I was pushed, I mean, ideally, my ideal ultimate Steyr hunting rifle would be a hunting 5, but turned into a hunting 10, if you like. A hunting 5 with the rotary magazine action stuck instead of the 5-shot. Now that would be a superb weapon. Whether that's going to happen, I don't know. I don't know what's involved in. If you look at the action of this, it's actually a bit more chunky at the back end, so I'm imagining there's a fair bit more engineering involved in getting that rotary magazine to work than the stick magazine, so it's probably not going to happen. Even so, if I had just the one, what would I pick? Very difficult question to answer. Very difficult. I don't know. It's so hard to answer that question. On the one hand, you've got your 10 shots and massive stability from the bipod, but isn't perhaps as stable and flows up as nicely as the hunting 5, which mounts beautifully. I suppose if push came to shove, I'd go for the Pro 10, the Pro X, I mean, with the 10-shot mag, purely because you've got your 10 shots and it shoots lovely, and on that bipod it's awesome. I have to say, both of these are as accurate as any air rifle I've ever shot. The groups that they can print are awesome. More so off the Pro X because it's got that bipod. I have printed some truly tiny, you know, at 50 yards off the bipod on a windless, calm day when the pellets aren't being wafted around. I printed groups consistently that fit under a 5p piece. Now I know there's loads of air rifles can do that these days, plenty of them, but you know, you do not need any better accuracy than that. If you can at 50 yards put 10 shots under a 5p piece, then that rifle is doing the business. You know, it is faultless. So there you go. So that's a comparison of the Hunting 5 Auto and the Pro X. Like I say, which I'd pick, very difficult decision to make. On the one hand, I prefer the balance, I prefer the looks of the Hunting 5. I really do. I think it's a beautiful looking thing in the flesh. You have to see one really, and you have to pick one up to feel how nicely and instinctively it comes into the shoulder. It does point like a driven game full bore rifle. It's beautiful. On the other hand, the Pro X, from a functional sort of hunting gun perspective, that 10-shot magazine is wondrous to shoot with. Its accuracy is faultless, and with the bipod, that bipod mounting system is incredible. It makes it such a stable gun. It's unbelievably stable. Honestly, it really is. Far and away the most stable gun off a bipod I've ever shot, mounted with that thing above it. I just wish I could get one of those to fit on this, but I haven't got the clearance at the front here for that considerable rail thing to fit on, unfortunately, before it bangs up against the scope. I suppose I could get one on it if I just had a thinner scope with a 24mm objective where it doesn't flare out. I could probably get one on that then, or buy a riser rail to raise this up a bit so I can get one on. But to be honest, because I'm lucky enough, fortunate enough to have them both, I'm tempted not to fiddle with it really, and just to leave it as is, because both of them are shooting beautifully. So there you go. So that's the two hunting rifles in the Steyr range, really. The Pro X and the Hunting 5. Naturally, both of these are available in the shorter barreled carbine versions, or Scout as they call them. And you get the Hunting 5 Scout, which has got a shorter barrel, and that shorter barrel and shorter air cylinder are carried over onto the Pro X Scout as well. But they're two of the finest hunting rifles, hunting air rifles I've ever shot. I can't stress enough how truly brilliant they are, and they bring something new to the UK airgunning scene. You know, all the rest of them, they're all pretty much of a muchness. You know, there's nothing really new about any of them, really. They're just a variation on a theme. But at least these have got that semi-automatic capability, which brings something new. You know, that ability to take rapid fires. I mean, I said on one of my other videos, I took 5 rabbits down, one after the other, with a Hunting 5 a couple of months ago. It's the first time I've ever done that straight away, one after the other, literally. Bang, 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 5 shots, 5 rabbits. Unbelievable. Probably never do it again, but it was great to have that facility there to do it. And the Pro X, already a couple of times from a prone position up against the hedge, I've took 2 feeding rabbits out, shot the first one, second one sat up, so what was going on, bang, straight up, instantly, bang, it's gone, that one's hit too. No need to reload and move or anything like that, and it's the movement that puts game off half the time, not so much the noise or the shot, it's the movement when you have to recock your rifle. With these, you don't. So I've, you know, already had a couple of quick sort of double taps, if you like, on rabbits with the Pro X, and I've had them 5 once with the Hunting 5 Auto. So awesome guns. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and look out for more. I will, once the really strong winds die down a bit, I will be out doing some long range target shooting with the Pro X, and we'll show what it can do on a nice still day, if we ever get a nice still day. Thanks for watching.